The human psyche and societal structure have always been interwoven with political ideologies. Today we'll be exploring one such ideology, conservatism. Quintin Hogg, chairman of the British Conservative Party in 1959, once said, "Conservatism is not so much a philosophy as an attitude, a constant force, which plays a timeless role in the development of a free society and corresponds to a deep and permanent requirement of human nature itself." In essence, Hogg was suggesting that conservatism is more than a political standpoint. It is an enduring attitude that resonates with the intrinsic needs of humanity. It is not just a philosophy, but a constant and timeless force that shapes our society. This perspective highlights the universality of certain values and institutions within conservative thought. So, how did this ideology evolve? What makes it so timeless and universal? Let us delve into this profound ideology and trace its evolutionary journey. The roots of conservatism reach back into the annals of history. As we journey back, we find conservatism's origins intricately linked with two powerful institutions of the time, the monarchy and the church. The monarchy, with its divine right of kings, was seen as a natural and God-given authority, a force of stability in an unpredictable world. The church, on the other hand, offered moral guidance, a beacon of light in the midst of societal chaos. These two institutions were deeply respected, their authority unquestioned, and their traditions revered. Conservative thought, then, was not merely a political ideology, but a worldview that permeated every aspect of society. It was a reverence for the old, a respect for tradition, and a belief in the importance of established institutions. Conservatism was the voice that cautioned against haste, against reckless change, and against the abandonment of time-tested traditions. The conservative mind, at its core, believed in a natural order to society, a hierarchy if you will. This hierarchy was not seen as oppressive but rather as a necessary structure that provided stability and order. The king at the top, the nobility below, and the common folk at the bottom. Each had their place, each had their role, and each was vital to the functioning of society. Conservatism also championed the idea of authority. It held that some individuals, by virtue of their experience, wisdom, or divine right, were better equipped to lead and make decisions for the greater good of society. This authority was not to be questioned but respected and obeyed. Moreover, conservatism placed a high value on property rights, viewing them as fundamental to individual freedom and societal stability. Private property was seen as a bulwark against tyranny and a means to ensure personal independence. This reverence for tradition, belief in hierarchy, respect for authority, and emphasis on property rights were the cornerstones of early conservatism. They served as the guiding principles that shaped societies and influenced governance. This was the foundation upon which conservative thought was built. As societies evolved, so did conservatism. The Industrial Revolution, a transformative period in human history, brought with it significant changes, not only in the way people lived and worked, but also in the way they thought about society and its organization. It was during this time that conservatism underwent a significant shift. The Industrial Revolution brought about the rise of capitalism, a system that valued free markets and competition. This system, characterized by private ownership and profit-driven enterprises, was seen by conservatives as a means to promote individual liberty and economic prosperity. The emphasis of conservative thought began to shift from maintaining traditional societal structures to advocating for a free market economy. This shift was not just about economics, though. It was about the role of government in society. Conservatives began to argue for a limited government, one that would safeguard individual rights and freedoms, but otherwise interfere as little as possible in the workings of the market and the lives of the citizens. The belief was that a limited government would allow for a society in which individuals could freely pursue their own goals and interests, leading to a prosperous and harmonious society. This shift in conservative thought was not a rejection of tradition, but rather a reimagining of it. Conservatives still valued tradition, but they began to see it not as an unchanging set of rules, but rather as a guide that could help society navigate the challenges and changes brought about by the Industrial Revolution and the rise of capitalism. The transition from an emphasis on tradition to a focus on free markets and limited government interference did not happen overnight. It was a gradual process marked by debates, conflicts, and compromises. But over time, these ideas took hold and reshaped conservative thought. This marked the dawn of modern conservatism, a form of conservatism that continues to evolve and adapt to this day, but that still holds at its core the values of individual liberty, limited government, and a deep respect for tradition. The 20th century brought new challenges and changes to conservative thought. In the wake of global upheavals such as the two world wars and the Cold War, conservatism found itself at a crossroads. The devastation and socio-political shifts that these conflicts brought about forced conservatives to grapple with new realities and rethink their positions on a number of key issues. The World Wars, for instance, challenged the traditional conservative stance on international relations and state sovereignty. As nations banded together in alliances to fight against common enemies, the idea of absolute sovereignty was put to the test. In response, conservatives began to advocate for a more pragmatic approach to international relations, recognizing the importance of alliances and collective security in preserving national interests. The Cold War, on the other hand, brought the ideological battle between capitalism and communism to the forefront. This led to the emergence of neoconservatism, a political philosophy that emphasized individual liberty, free market principles, and a staunch opposition to communism. Neoconservatives argued that the state should play a minimal role in the economy, believing that economic freedom was a fundamental human right and key to achieving prosperity. At the same time, the economic crises of the 20th century, from the Great Depression to the oil shock of the 70s, underscored the fragility of free market systems and the potential for economic instability. This prompted conservatives to advocate for sound fiscal policies and a more cautious approach to economic management. The 20th century also saw the rise of social conservatism, with traditional values and institutions taking center stage. Social conservatives pushed for a return to traditional moral standards, fearing that rapid social change was eroding the foundations of society. In essence, the 20th century saw the refinement and redefinition of conservative values. The challenges of the century served as catalysts for change, leading to the evolution of conservatism from a rigid ideology to a more flexible and adaptive political philosophy. Despite these changes, however, the core principles of conservatism, a belief in individual liberty, limited government, and traditional values, remained intact. The 20th century saw the refinement and redefinition of conservative values. In the contemporary era, conservatism continues to adapt and evolve. We find ourselves in a world that's constantly changing, and with it, conservatism finds new avenues to navigate. The core tenets of conservatism remain intact, but their application evolves to meet the demands of the present day. Let's consider social issues. In the face of rapidly shifting societal norms, conservatives have had to grapple with and respond to these changes. Some conservatives have embraced a more progressive stance, recognizing the importance of individual rights and liberties. Others have doubled down on traditional values, believing that they serve as the bedrock of a stable society. These differing perspectives illustrate the rich diversity within conservatism. Globalization, too, has shaped contemporary conservatism in significant ways. The rise of global markets and the increasing interconnectedness of nations have led some conservatives to champion free trade and open markets. Yet others advocate for protectionist policies, aiming to safeguard national interests and local economies. Again, this is testament to the multifaceted nature of conservative thought. Climate change, a defining issue of our time, has also elicited varied responses from conservatives. Some have taken a stand for environmental stewardship, aligning it with the conservative principle of preserving what is valuable. Others have questioned the extent of human impact on the climate, citing concerns about potential economic drawbacks of drastic measures. These nuanced responses to modern challenges reveal the breadth and depth of contemporary conservatism. They demonstrate that conservatism is not a monolith, but a spectrum of ideas, each responding to the world in its own unique way. In essence, contemporary conservatism is a dynamic force, adapting and responding to an ever-changing world. It's a reflection of the complexities of human nature, a testament to the enduring relevance of conservative principles. Today's conservatism is a tapestry of diverse ideas and responses to modern challenges. Conservatism, as we have seen, is not just a static philosophy, it's a dynamic attitude, a constant force that evolves and adapts, standing the test of time. From its early roots, conservatism has shown its deep and intrinsic connections to human nature, and its profound influence on the formation of a free society. The evolution of conservative thought, as we've journeyed through, has been nothing short of fascinating. It has demonstrated a remarkable ability to adapt to changing societal contexts, while preserving the core values and institutions that remain universal within its ideology. Quintin Hogg's profound words encapsulate this perfectly. Conservatism corresponds to a deep and permanent requirement of human nature itself. It plays a timeless role, guiding the development of society while being shaped by it. This intricate dance between conservatism and society is ongoing, revealing the dynamic nature of this ideological attitude. It is indeed a dynamic force shaping and shaped by the society we live in.